permission to wind his arms around Brady's neck and hold fast. "You're ridiculously warm," he said when he finally managed to pull away from Brady's talented, distracting mouth. Brady gave a slow grin. "I'll spare you a lousy joke about showing you how hot I can be and drag you to bed to show you." Skylar laughed as Brady tugged him away from the wall and through his house to the bedroom. He woke hours later, sore and sated and a good deal happier than he'd felt in a long time. And to his stomach growling. Something smelled like perfection. Skylar threw back the blankets and fumbled for clothes hastily discarded earlier. Wandering into the bathroom, he cleaned up quickly before going in search of the kitchen. The sight of Brady wearing only loose sweatpants that seemed to enjoy molding to his ass distracted him momentarily. Brady half-turned, then smiled. "You're awake." "Depends on how you define—" Skylar broke off as a yawn got the best of him. "Awake." Brady chuckled and nodded at the coffee machine, where an empty mug sat waiting. Skylar gladly helped himself, then asked, "What smells so good?" "Chili, my mom's recipe. Some cornbread, too. It just went in a couple minutes ago. Dinner should be ready in 20 minutes or so." Brady abandoned the stove to cross the kitchen, waiting until the coffee was out of the way to cup Skylar's face and bend down for a quick kiss. "Sleep well?" "Very," Skylar said, feeling shy and smug all at once. "I get the feeling you don't sleep much." Brady snorted and withdrew slightly. "Wait until the summer. I hate the heat. It's going to be me sprawled on this cold linoleum floor with the AC cranked while I moan about how I'm melting. I prefer to sleep through as much of the summer as possible." Skylar laughed over the brim of his mug, then took another swallow of coffee. "Come on, there's something I want to show you," Brady said, lightly taking hold of his hand and leading Skylar out of the kitchen, through the living room with a positively sumptuous-looking couch, and into what was clearly an office. Brady picked up a dark green folder, the only thing on top of the desk beyond a lamp and a pencil holder, and held it out. "What's this?" Skylar asked, setting down his mug to open the folder. He stared as the words on the page registered. "These are adoption papers for a female pup." He frowned. "From a relative?" "Sister," Brady said, scratching at the back of his head, looking nervous. It was a strange look on him, even stranger than his occasional shy smiles. Brady blew out a breath, dropped his hand, and said, "It's really crazy, all the timing on us meeting again. Until about a month ago, I lived across town in a house I rented with two other guys, some friends from college. But I've always wanted kids, you know. I work for my dad's company, mostly on the business end of things. That's why I went to school. But I also do some of the woodwork, headboards, cabinets, that kind of thing. Anyway, I really wanted kids, a family, and my sister is expecting a pup she and her husband don't really want. They have 6 kids, no more room in the house. This latest pup was a surprise. She asked if I would be interested in adopting. I said yes and started working on getting a proper house, this place. The baby is due in about another month, a girl." Skylar swallowed, staring hard at the papers, missing Hansel and Gretel so much it hurt to breathe. I'm happy for you. She'll be adorable. Did you want me to leave you in peace while you adjust?" "No," Brady said, throwing the folder back on the desk before he hugged Skylar close. "I definitely want you around, but I'm aware of how stupidly fast we're doing everything. I know you miss Hansel and Gretel, and I don't care what their real names are. Those names were given by parents who threw those children away. So as far as I'm concerned, Hansel and Gretel are yours." "I wish they were," Skylar said quietly. "But no one is going to let a re-socialized snake adopt the children of a woman he attacked and severely poisoned." Brady kissed his temple. "I promised you it would be okay, didn't I? Don't give up hope yet. In the meantime, if you want to keep being crazy and moving fast and haven't killed me in a month, you can help me raise my daughter. or at least put up with me while I get the hang of raising a child. I'm okay with crazy. Careful and cautious are all I've ever been. I wouldn't mind trying crazy, Skylar said. Awesome. Brady cupped his face and kissed him again, soft and sweet, mouth fitting against Skylar's so effortlessly it left Skylar reeling. Drawn back, Brady slid his hand away to loop them around Skylar's waist, nuzzling against his cheek. Let's go eat, then we can figure out what to do with the rest of the night and the weekend. Skylar followed him back to the kitchen and helped get out the bowls, silverware, and a couple of beers from the fridge. He was halfway through his bowl of chili, cheerfully arguing football, when the doorbell rang. Brady scowled. Who is that? I swear to God, if my brothers are here to interrupt my weekend, I will murder them. He threw his napkin on the table before stomping out of the kitchen. Skylar got fresh beers from the fridge and went back to his chili. Brady's voice was low, conversational, so it must not be his brother's. Then he heard familiar barking, crying. Skylar rose and bolted to the front of the house, shoving past Brady and a woman he didn't recognize, completely uncaring for the fallen snow as the two familiar figures half-jumped, half-tumbled out of the driver's side window of a compact SUV and clambered down the snowy walkway toward him. Kneeling, Skylar caught them up as they reached him, stooping to let them lick and nuzzle and nip until they were satisfied. Hot tears stung his eyes, quickly wiped away by overeager licking. I missed you too, he finally managed, voice rough, ragged. I missed you so much. You weren't kidding, the woman said, voice barely carrying through the wind and snow. Brady's voice was louder, clearer when he replied. I was dead serious. Do you see why we're pushing so hard? You tell me what's wrong with that arrangement. I will certainly mention it when I submit the paperwork. Skylar finally scooped up the puppies and rose, turning around and reluctantly returning to the house and a waiting woman as Brady beckoned to him. What are they doing here? They were supposed to be waiting in the car, the woman said wryly. She was pretty, with dark hair and skin, something about her business-like, efficient, though she wore jeans, boots, and a poofy bright red coat. She stripped the coat off as they all bustled back into the house. I have no friggin' clue about how they opened the window the whole way. I only left it cracked. In the living room, Skylar settled on the floor with Hansel and Gretel, unable to stop touching them, smiling with every lick and nip. The woman sat on the end of the couch, murmuring thanks when Brady brought her a soda. He handed Skylar his beer, then settled nearby on the floor with his own. So, you're the Skylar Trap about whom I've heard so much. I was told they adored you, but I'm still astonished to see how much they've bonded. No wonder they've seemed depressed the past 2 weeks. We keep expecting them to settle, but it's obvious now why they wouldn't. It troubles me that they don't seem to miss their parents at all. She sighed. They were left in my woods, Skylar said softly, heart wrenching in his chest as Hansel and Gretel settled in his lap and almost immediately fell asleep, snorting and snuffling quietly. I never wanted them to leave. Well, they might be yours again, Brady said. I promised, didn't I? It's highly unusual, though, like completely unheard of. You'd be setting a hell of a precedent if you were granted adoption rights. I didn't want to tell you to get your hopes up until I knew I had good news for you. Emily here is the one fighting the case. Emily nodded. I think, in spite of everything, that it will go through. The fact that Angela, Maya, and Harvey all issued recommendations really helps. And of course there are statements from the wolves who took your report, the fact you've begun dating Brady. Skylar looked over at Brady, who looked sheepish. I may have exaggerated that one slightly, both because I'm optimistic and I knew it would help. Skylar smiled at him. Then the other things Emily said registered. Wait, Maya? You mean Mrs. Gray? Since when does she recommend me for anything other than a cage? Everyone was surprised, Brady replied. She was pissed with her sister. Did you miss all that at the hearing? They're no longer speaking, and Maya has severed all connections with her old pack. It's all anyone is talking about. Well, that and the involvement of a badass snake who defended the puppies, and even got fangy with their dumb bitch mother. I'm not a badass, Skylar replied, snorting. I'm a snake. Fighting comes naturally. Emily laughed softly. Well, he's right that the stories of you grow and grow. I'm submitting all the necessary paperwork tomorrow when I reach the offices, unless the snow gets in my way, of course. In which case, it'll take an extra day or two. If they approve a trial period, I'll bring you paperwork to sign. But I should warn you now that as part of it, they probably will require you to move to be closer to the pack. Are you going to live here? We'll see, Brady said. I don't want to rush anything, but he'll definitely get permission to reside on pack lands. If he chooses to keep his own home, though, we'll support him, whatever the council says. They should be close to other wolves, Skylar said. I'll do whatever I have to. I don't care. They're mine. Whatever it takes to make that legal, I'll do it. Emily nodded. I'll be sure to include that. I was actually stopping by to see if Brady would mind watching them, since the roads are dangerous enough I wasn't happy taking them with me. But the foster family watching them was honestly at their wits' end of trying to care for two such despondent pups. I think my answer is obvious, Brady said. Thanks, Emily. Thank you, Emily replied. I'll call you when we know something more, but I think I can go ahead and say welcome to the pack, Skylar. We'll look forward to seeing you at the next community gathering. I'll see you guys later. She waved Brady off, and he started to stand and show her out. Skylar stared at Hansel and Gretel, unable to believe it. Are they? Is there really a chance I could adopt them? Me? Yeah, Sky. Brady moved closer, draped an arm over his shoulder, and pressed their temples together. Like I said, I wanted to wait until more of the paperwork had gone through. I'm sorry for not speaking up. No, it's okay. It makes sense. I can't believe they might let me. He blinked away more tears. You don't mind? Them and your daughter, all of this? Brady kissed his temple. It could blow up in our faces. We may go our separate ways in the end. But I get the feeling we won't, and we won't know until we try. I'm all for trying to build a family together if you are. Definitely, Skylar said softly, turning his head to kiss Brady properly, Puppy still snoring happily in his lap. We hope you have enjoyed this audiobook presentation of Backwoods Asylum by Megan Durr. This production was narrated by Paul Morey. For more stimulating book titles, visit LessThanFreePress.com. Production copyright 2014 to Less Than Free Press. All rights